Peace and welcome back. I am Chi Vital and I am back with another tool for your toolkit. This is the House of Chi where spirituality meets reality. Thank you all. We are back for our Wisdom Wednesdays. Yes, I'm back. We did Tuesday last week just to prepare you for the Wednesday, which was a powerful solar eclipse. But tonight, I have a different message for you. So, as you tune in, drop those hearts in the chat. Y'all already know I love the love. Welcome in, and I will shout you out if you are part of the early crowd. What's up, Divine Slytherin? What's up, Naga Creed? How are you, darlings? Welcome back. Welcome. Hi. So tonight I got a treat for you all. Especially, I want to say this video is going to be super helpful to all of my medium baddies. For those of you who are working on your mediumship, for those of you who have been consistently meditating and you realize that you are developing a stronger gift of intuition and psychic abilities, this is like a really important conversation for us to have. Of course, I pull information for Wisdom Wednesdays out of the ethers. What should I talk to you all about? Um, and I just flow with it. And so tonight's going to be pretty relaxed as I break down the message as it came to me. And I welcome you all to ask questions. Please ask questions. Um, tonight's topic is about discernment. It's about being able to prove the authenticity of your intuition and some of the messages that you receive, especially because if you have been really consistently meditating, it's kind of like a product of consistent meditation that you are going to start becoming that much more sensitive. Even if you weren't sensitive before, your sensitivity is going to be off the charts. So if you're already sensitive and then you have been consistently doing this work, your sensitivity really can get the best of you, right? And so we want to just hone in on what are some of the dangers and just how do you protect yourself so that you don't, be out here in these streets looking at every single thing as a sign and getting flipped. Um, being mad at people, looking at people sideways, and whole time it's really not that serious, not that deep. Okay. This is actually important as well for everyone who is crossing that bridge and developing your alliances, right? We haven't really talked about that much, but as you are developing your alliances and wanting to know the difference between people who get you, but who are they anyway, and are they supposed to be aligned with you? What do they come with? All right, so I'm slow down and take my time and work through this with you all. Let me see who's in the building. I see all my regulars. I love y'all. Jasmine Ramsey's in the building. Peace. Leah B. Slytherin. Shouts out to all my Slytherins. Can we hit the chat with a couple of snakes? Because the Slytherins are family. Yes. Peace, Black Rose Tarot. What's up? I see some of my Capricorn babies. Technique Twin. Wagwan. Kitakula. Welcome, Fairy. My fairy babies. Slytherin Siren. Wagwan. The Tata Abby. What's up? The big Seeker Slytherin Wiz. What up? Alright. So here's like the gem, right? When we speak about sensitivity, spiritual sensitivity, and please do take notes, especially if you're taking this lifestyle seriously. You're going to want to be able to go back to this and really just meditate on some of the things that I'm sharing with you. All right. I'm speaking from real life experience. And this is one of the major points of, is it contest? Come on now, vocabulary. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. But let's say this. It's one of those areas where people who are developing increased sensitivity starts to get on people's nerves. Let's say that. Like, I'm gonna just keep it up. Let's keep it real simple. It is contention. Thank you. I could always rely on my chat GP Chiriqui. It is contention. That was the word. It is a point of contention when it comes to individuals who are becoming extra sensitive, because energetically, your sensitivity comes along with being porous. Let's start there. Okay? The more porous you are, is the more information that you are sucking in from your environment. Let's put that into perspective. If you're becoming a sponge, right? When we speak of porous, meaning you have holes and you're sucking in information, that means that you're going to have to develop what we all call discernment, but we'll look at it as a cell. Your vessel is a cell. You're going to need to have the ability to, in this case, develop a system of questioning that information that you receive. Because as much as every kind of witch, priestess, wizard, and all of that have protection, if you want to be tapped in and be able to pick up messages quickly, you're going to be more open. That is the risk that you take. You're not going to be able to say, okay, because I'm so powerful and so psychic and so well practiced in my abilities to see near and far, past, present, and future, that only true information is going to come to me. If someone says that they're 100% accurate every single time an energy comes and speaks to them, they're lying to you. Okay? That's bullshit. Okay? That's not how this works. What they can say is that they've developed strong enough relationships with certain spirits that communicate with them in a very clear and consistent way, that when they receive information from them, they're more likely to take it on its face value. And even still, that spirit, as developed as it may be, is also going to know that it has to provide what we call evidence. Make sense? So, the same way that we maintain the company that we keep, and we require them to, of course, exhibit. Darling, you're knocking over your furniture. That's y'all sister, Nari Lalita. Anyways, I digress. Just because you want your inner circle to exhibit loyalty via bringing you information that they might have picked up through the grapevine, you always want to be an impeccable leader when it comes to information that comes to you by requiring evidence. And I'll tell you why this is really important during this time. Because some people know you a little too well. And they'll know that if they bring you the right information, that you will let down your guard a certain kind of way and either offer them more information or somehow align yourself even tighter with that individual. And underneath that intention of proving their loyalty, they are trying to entrap you with information so that whatever they get into, it will drag you into it. Okay? And so without you knowing, if you just bite the bait and go, oh, yes, let me jump into this because they're telling me what someone has said about me or my work or somebody else that I'm working with, that means that this person really has my back. I'm here to tell you that in life, that you are the one that absolutely has your back. And even in the tightest of connections, you want to have what is like a is it fail-safe tactic for keeping the intel that comes towards you clean and backed up by evidence. All right? Does this make sense? Now, I know I'm having this conversation with you, beautiful people, because you're becoming more spiritually sensitive. And that also tends to make you a bit more attractive in its own kind of way, right? Because those of you who are able to exhibit some of your sensitivities that appear to be a bit supernatural, right? Either your touch is just amazingly healing and calming, your voice can bring about a release, emotional release, or healing of certain ailments in the body. The way that you write is as if there's an incantation and it is changing the trajectory of someone's day and their thought patterns, and they feel it, right? When you walk into a space, they feel the warmth, they feel the power that's growing. And that's fine. That's wonderful. So now I give you the responsibility for how you now deal with the dreams that you have, deal with the murmurs that come to you, how you deal with when you see certain things, and when is the right time to act on it. Yes? So we're going to write in our notebooks that intuition is information. Okay? Intuition is information. So when you go on Google and you ask a question and you get information, literally your intuition is pulling information. It's just in this case, it's pulling information. Your spirit is pulling information that you didn't necessarily ask for. Right? So you didn't type in a question, but you are receiving information. Now, when you start developing the ability to see and take note. I want everyone to become well versed or well practiced in taking note. You heard something, you saw something, take note. The most important thing is consistency. See yourselves as not trying to solve every puzzle, but to being able to recognize patterns and algorithms that are creating and revealing themselves right in front of you. Okay? So be a collector of information. Never, ever, and they say never, but I'm telling you, never act on the very first message that you receive, but always act on in the way of collecting the information that you receive. So this means always make a note and find a place to tuck it. If your mind can't hold certain information, keep a little journal of things that you notice. Okay? Keep a journal of what you noticed. Oh, I linked up with Bob today and I noticed a sinking feeling in my vibration. Now, does this mean Bob was up to no good? We don't know. You don't know. You just have collected information. Okay? Thank you, darlings. You've collected information. I want you to reward yourself with gratitude for being present enough to collect that information. That's the first thing. Some people ignore that and they don't give themselves credit for that. Okay? The more that you're being able to be present and to just pick up on things you're not looking for. I'm not telling you to be out here paranoid mess. Like every time I get around a person in a space, I'm like clocking every corner of the room and checking the temperature and is my aura expanded or is it contracted? I'm not telling you to do that. Okay? I'm telling you that you want to be in such a chill, calm space, internally grounded, that when you go anywhere, even let's say I walk into my office, right? Walk into my office, no one's in here. No one physical is in here. But if I walk into my office, I know I've set my office a certain way, but I might sense something. The first thing is sensing something. And when you sense something, that means that there is some kind of contrast present. And contrast does not mean negative. Contrast just means there's a difference, right? There's a difference in frequency. Like if you touch water that's the exact same temperature as your body, you won't necessarily feel the water because the temperature is exactly the same. So if we blindfold you, okay, the sensation of you being in a different in a different mode or substance might not register because it is the same. So all we're saying is when you come into a space and you sense something, especially if you have the ability to take a moment, take the 30 seconds to 60 seconds to recognize it. Okay? For those of you who are still developing these types of skills and talents, some of you are naturally talented in this, and some of you are developing the skill by practice. And neither one is more powerful than the other. In reality, the one that is more practiced is more powerful than the talent because the talent can absolutely deceive the person. because they're not practicing. Understand that. So for those of you who like, oh, I was born a certain way and my mother was a witch and blah, 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 like it's nothing if you don't really practice. Okay, it can really throw you off. So it's not about closing yourself off. I'm actually encouraging you to open yourself a little more in a way that you're aware of it and others aren't able to just take advantage of it. Does this first part make sense? Press 1 in the chat if you will follow. Okay. So what came to me is really this discernment around messages, because for whatever reason, as you're setting up your team, messages are going to become very important. There are going to be messages coming from the outside world. There's going to be messages coming from the unseen world. And there's going to be messages coming in from the outside world that are being revealed to you about people you have already brought into your inside world. This is where it gets a little like... So discernment is not just about what feels good either. We start talking about discernment, and there's this idea that, well, I'm going to use discernment so that if it doesn't feel good, then obviously it's not for me. But then if it feels good, it's for me. But the more open you are, there are going to be connections that feel good. But that's when you need to be a little more vigilant. Because the more that you feel good in a particular connection is the more likely, like I said earlier in this lesson, is the more likely you are to kind of let down your guard and reveal certain things that a person hasn't earned yet. And moving into this new chapter of your life where you have done so much work just to stay alive, okay, to stay vibrant and positive and inspired and forward thinking and forward moving, you're moving into this next chapter. You don't want to be so quick to just open the floodgates like you may have in the past, because that can turn around and bite you, because you haven't allowed a certain amount of time for evidence to prove that that good feeling that you're having is worthy of opening yet another door. Okay? So we're not moving in fear nowadays. Hopefully we're like beyond that at this point, because not to be morbid, but this is my philosophy: is what's the worst that can happen? You could die. Okay. You don't have control over that. I mean, sure, you can develop your yogi talents and decide today I'm going to stop breathing. But for the most part, you get liberated from this physical body. Ooh, scary. It's not that scary after all, because it's promised. So you just get to the promised land sooner than maybe you anticipated. Okay? So this is not about being scary. This is really about leveling up the quality of connection and what gains more access to the new being that you are evolving, what's unfolding with you. Okay, so this is where you are learning how to conceal aspects of yourself until you really like background check those who are coming into your new space. Even if they were there already, I promise you there's going to be some additional revelations about people that you already feel good with, and you had no idea that they had ties with this, that, or the third. And even if you don't care about those ties that they have, it's a matter of knowing. You should know. Okay? So just because people are within a close proximity to you does not mean that they need to be deeply embedded and tied into all of what it is that you're developing. Okay? Like proximity does not grant access. Some of you all already know this because you're in your homes. You have an entire full practice doing mantras, you have altars, you're doing meditations, and nobody knows what you do when you close your bedroom door at all. No clue. Never seen a candle. So they are physically there, but they have no idea. All right. Um, so again, what you strongly feel is leading you to a place where it's saying there's something here and I need to keep my eyes open, but soft. Soft eyes allow you to see. Because if you're looking for something, you're going to find what you're looking for. So you want to maintain a calm demeanor, especially when you are starting to feel something very strongly. Okay? Promise me that y'all gonna do that. Put some hearts in the chat if y'all gonna make sure y'all take heed to that. You feel a very strong energy about something, especially like you have one of those vivid dreams. You want to tell yourself, calm down and listen. Okay? Calm down. Don't assume anything. Pay attention. I'm going to take a moment to answer a couple of questions. I'm telling y'all, from real experience, I have seen people come to me. They say one thing, and I already know the rest of the conversation and where they want the conversation to go based on their intentions, and they don't even know that they're going there yet. But through being calm, I get the opportunity to observe them spin out on their own. And that is evidence of what my guides have already whispered to me. This person is such, and such. This is what they're trying to do. Meanwhile, they came looking like, hey, how you doing? Yes, did you hear about such and such? And it's totally innocent. Okay? But I already got the 411. So now I got to calm down and I got to observe. So when they start asking probing questions, I return the question back to them for them to answer. Little tactics like that, just to keep a certain boundary so you can actually see what's going on and allow the person to reveal what's really driving them. Because on the flip side, right, of all of this spirituality and sensitivity and being porous and attractive and psychic, is that energies that come around that try to play with you, that you have already agreed here, you put a heart in here, we agreed, right? We locked in that you're going to be calm and you're going to observe. They're like, okay, I can't mess with them directly. So let me go jump on this weakling's back, this muggle who is like totally ego driven and trying a thing. And I'm gonna bring them to him. They're close in proximity. And so I'm gonna use them to try and get them to engage with me some kind of way. And so you watch, and then towards the end of it, things are revealed. You find out that this person's been having conversations with somebody that you long time ago don't even talk to no more, but they don't even know you don't talk to them because you've been like this. And now you're like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't tell them about this little happenstance that happened to me, because they might have took that information to somebody who I really don't bang with, who's going to take that and think that they had some upper hand and they had something to do with it. Like people be secretly like hating on you, thinking that they doing working on you, and like, you tripped in the street and they feel like they actually did that. You see what I'm saying? Like you got to create enough space to observe. Okay. We listen twice and speak once. Even in Sri Vijay lifestyle, so I'll call it Sri Vijay lifestyle, you're actually not supposed to repeat yourself in a lot of circumstances, just so that you can know that you are communicating with people who really are aligned with you. That's a secret. Like if you have to constantly communicate verbally what it is that you desire, you need done, da da da. And it's like you're now trying to correct someone else's interaction with you constantly. They're not out of pocket, you are. If you're practicing this lifestyle. If you're practicing this lifestyle, okay? Now, I get if it's something complicated and you need to explain it one time, but if they're not getting it, like it's okay, let it go. Like let it go. Move on to the next thing. Take care of yourself. Any questions so far? Oh, I did want to look at these questions. One second. I'm just looking through the chat right quick because I know that there were some questions, and earlier when I scrolled through, it was giving me a little trouble, so I couldn't see it. Thank you for thumbsing up this video. Please do like, share, and subscribe. As I've said before, if you subscribe and you find that you're not, excited about my content, you can unsubscribe. If you have subscribed in the past, please check that you are still subscribed, just in case, YouTube land has considered you a bot. But otherwise, welcome. I appreciate you being here. Let me see. I see some Spider-Man. Um, I can see how proximity can be potentially beneficial or detrimental to your ascent. Absolutely. Absolutely. Fred Craven said, I am calm and relaxed all the time. That's a good affirmation. So even if you're not, that's a great affirmation. If you're saying that out loud, your nervous system is picking it up and is going with it. Everyone now, like no matter how you're feeling, just say that to yourself. I am calm and relaxed all the time. And you can be calm and relaxed and fierce at the same time. Some people fear that if they're too calm, that they're not going to be able to move into a mode of protecting themselves, defending themselves. But in true martial arts or in the art of war, the person who is on edge has already lost the battle. Because you cannot see clearly, you cannot strategize in perfection, reacting to any circumstances. All right, this is law. Um, let's see. So it's okay to give benefit of the doubt even when you can read the play in the room. So if you've been watching this video, when someone says they can read the play in the room, okay? Some of y'all say y'all can read the play in the room, but you walked into the room already looking for the play. So part of the issue with that is that you become paranoid on top of being hypersensitive. If you really are grounded in your power to protect yourself from being invaded by parasitic energies of people trying to play you, which is a whole nother conversation, all right? Because the notion of going into spaces and constantly feeling like people are trying to play you is a real ego conundrum. Because the people who think that on a regular basis, they are so offended easily. They're easily offended all of the time because they think that people have taken the time to intentionally try to play them. And that makes them be in a weaker position. And it takes work. I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. Like you don't get into spaces where people are really trying to play you and play in your face. It happens. It happens. But I can say from my own experience, from being one of those people who have noticed, like, oh, wow, like you're really trying to play me, to knowing myself and going, it's kind of silly, like it's kind of laughable of someone trying to play me, right? Like that says more about that individual than it does about me. Like, even if this person were to so-called find something that they think is a one up on whatever it is that they feel they're trying to tear down, it says more about how powerful my empire is as I walk into a room, how huge my energy is that they would have had to try to find a way. So it's really about you. You're not giving people the benefit of the doubt. What is that? Let's break that down. What does that mean? Benefit of the doubt. Benefit of the doubt comes from someone has been consistently cool and then something feels off. And you go, all right, something definitely feels off. Something happened. I don't know what it is yet. The benefit of the doubt is this: the benefit to you, not to them. The benefit to you in that situation is that you keep your mouth closed and you allow what needs to be revealed to come up. Either you go home or you start reciting whatever mantras you've received to bring up the truth of what has happened, and you keep your mouth shut, because you may decide to react to whatever that energy is and come to find out that maybe that person had an experience that changed up their energy, but it had nothing to do with you. You just are hypersensitive because of the work you've been doing, so you feel it. But now you look like a fool. The benefit to you being chill is you get to gather information and receive evidence of what you're feeling before you act on it. Okay? It's like if you really want to place yourself on a throne, then you want to make sure that you're looking at how do you present yourself according to how you're seeing yourself, not how you want everyone else to see you. It's like if you really, really feel like you're real powerful and you dangerous, you're doing yourself a disservice by telling everyone in the room that you're really powerful and you're really dangerous. Because, like, that's going to reveal itself when you have enough evidence through whatever means, because you have to develop that for yourself. You have enough evidence before you act on something, and then you prove to yourself that you actually are that powerful and that dangerous, and everyone else can see it and they experience it, and there's no question about it. It's not something that you have to give out flyers about. Okay? That makes sense? I like this question. Let me see. What is your definition of true cultivation in relation to this main message you're giving us? What is my definition of true cultivation? Is being patient with collecting information. Learn how to breathe. Learn how to collect information and recognize patterns, because most human beings are not that complicated. They're very patterned, which makes it a lot easier on your brain to discern when something is off. Does that answer your question? Because I don't want any of my psychic mommies and poppies to get carried away. Get carried away with like, I know because. Oh, Rika said, I learned so much from she, how to be assertive and still be kind. Yes. Yes, indeed. You know, even within the family, the most, I'm going to use quotation fingers, the most gangster or about it individuals, they're very kind and well mannered. Very kind and well mannered. You know what I'm saying? Because when it's time to get busy, it's all the more reason for when we get busy that is well deserved. And that kind of movement comes with maturity. Okay? It comes with maturity. My assertive and kind appears as passive aggressive. All right, well, let's talk about that. And yes, Asoda and me are like yin and yang. And then you can flip us inside and out. and we like yang and yin. Okay? And I like that for me. And I think he likes that for himself too. Passive aggressive. Passive aggressive is so annoying. Let's really define it. You guys can chime in the chat. Passive aggressive. Passive aggressive is annoying because you want something, you want to say something, but you're not being direct about it. Obnoxious is different. So, obnoxious is like those people who go, well, I'm just being honest. Like, you walk into a party and their friend goes, "Oh, girl, you look fat in that dress." Could it be true? Yes. Okay. It can absolutely be true, but it's obnoxious because, hey, like, no one asked you. You don't know what the person went through to get outside. You don't know if they want to be bigger. It's not, it's like, is it really important for you to say that? Obnoxious is like you really saying things out of your mouth that aren't important. Like you're speaking your honest opinion and no one asked you for it. That's obnoxious. Passive aggressive. Let me use this example, which is so hilarious if this person ever sees this. Um, if you, let's say I'm talking to you. Who is this I'm talking to? Siren. If you didn't submit that application, let me know, and I'll just go ahead and do it. Um, that's passive aggressive because clearly I have an issue. There's two issues here. One, I'm coming to you like I already know you didn't submit the application. Two, if I have the ability to submit the application, I could have just submitted it myself. Right? So instead of me saying to you that I'm aware that the application wasn't submitted and I'm asking, can you take care of it? I'm beating around the bush and I'm being a bitch. You get what I'm saying? It's nasty. Like, just tell me that you want me to do this particular thing, and I'll tell you I can do it, or I can say I can't do it. Sometimes people are passive aggressive because they don't know if they're gonna get what they want. So they are passive aggressive people don't have a healthy relationship with rejection. You know, sometimes someone's going to reject whatever the request is. Okay. Chiriqui said I consider it ambient abuse. Yes, the worst someone can say is no. So we have the worst that can happen to you is death. And we liken rejection to death because rejection means no. Okay. No life to whatever it is that you asked for. The worst someone can say is no. Okay. I have another question. Does maintaining silence and refraining from interaction assist in circumventing certain environments or energies that may be attempting to convey inaccurate information and exert influence? Sometimes the silent treatment is passive aggressive with people and spirits. I want you all to really write that down. Like if there is, I think with people it's a little straightforward, right? If you've already recognized that, let's say you're constantly in the space of someone who's doing something that you really don't appreciate. Your silence is suffering. You're not saying anything about it. You're not giving the person the opportunity to change the behavior. So say something, right? Allow that person to show that they all the way are choosing not to care, or they just all the way don't have self control. And so that's what is going to be around them. Now, with a spirit, you can have a spirit that is creating a certain kind of energy or bringing you information that you actually don't care about. You want to be silent about it? No, you want to tell them, yo, get away from me. I don't want to hear shit you talking about at all. You're not bringing me no money. You haven't revealed the real secret. Anytime that you ever came to me, you're not showing me evidence. Get the F up out of here. Bye. Okay? Talk to them out loud. You have to exert your boundaries. So there's a time to choose silence and there's a time to speak your piece. How we doing? I like y'all questions. Y'all have any more questions? So now that I'm going to fast forward, that you have developed a strong sense of discernment, you're learning to manage your intuition, right? The intuition information. Now becomes important of knowing what to do with that information. What to do with this information. And that's your homework. That's your homework. Think about different scenarios. Sometimes people come to you and they tell you about some family secret, and this person has not told anybody else in the family about whatever this situation is. You got some people who take that information and they go and they go and share it with everyone immediately. Right? But is that what you were supposed to do with that information? Yes or no? You have to learn how to discern what to do with what comes to you. You may pick up on something that is unsavory and it has not been shared with you directly. Learning what to do with that information is part of maturity with your gifts. Does that make sense? That makes sense? So you're shifting out of this place of just gathering information and you're learning now what to do with it. And being patient with how you move. What's one of the most important things you learned when you went on your sabbatical to foreign ancient temple that you spoke about in your book that you think can inspire us on our spiritual path? One of the most important things I learned. One of the lessons that comes to mind is that when I decided to learn about something, that what excited me the most was going to present the biggest test. Okay? I'll be even more transparent. There was a particular energy that I found to be very fascinating because she dealt with anger. And I had a really, really, really bad temper. Like, really bad temper before that period of time. And I also had so many life experiences at such an early age that I already felt like I knew certain things. And so, because of that, my anger was amplified. Like, I would easily just get really frustrated with human beings because I just constantly witnessed how human beings at every level, like adults and elders, it just was blowing my mind of how ridiculously retarded their development had been. And so when I came across and I was, learning about one of the energies, it was like immediately it developed an experience for me to really face myself at the height of what that uncontrollable anger was. Why did I have it? It was like my intention was just to be so freaking loving and kind. And I just had this energy that was just like pissed the fuck off, right? Just pissed. I'm mad. And I couldn't figure out, like, why do I have a temper like this? Why am I so angry? Why can't I just like be a little upset about things? Why do I have to feel like, oh word, I off what they had, like they're out of here. Take them up out of here. We don't need them. Like, why am I like this? Right. And I got to learn that my access to that level of annihilation and destructive energy wasn't permission to destroy everything. It was an invitation for me to learn how to wield so much power in a constructive way and to open my channels of energy with more precision so that I did not kill everything. But it took being in a contained environment where I was forced to face that aspect of myself to realize that I didn't need a bunch of people around to get my biggest lessons. My biggest lessons would come with just the right teacher pushing the right buttons to catapult me into a higher level of advanced being of myself. Not becoming someone else, but taking the raw materials of who I am and what I come with and learning how to really use that superpower in a way that would not also destroy me. So, if that inspires you on your spiritual path, I'm glad for it because some of you give up when you get absolutely frustrated with certain circumstances, and you just like, I don't know why this is this way, and you might really think it's somebody else, and you keep missing the actual gem in it because it's just forcing you to see what else can you do with this particular attitude or energy you have towards that thing. And that helps you not be such a puppet. Cool? All right. So it looks like Asoda wants to do an additional lesson or something on Patreon. And so I will let you all go. I really appreciate you all being here. Wisdom Wednesday videos, they stay up here. The meditations, they get uploaded to my Patreon. So I really appreciate you all signing up for the House of Chi Patreon. So you have access to the meditations and the prompts and how to apply them in your lives at any time, honestly. Um, and again, when you utilize your hype button, the hype button, when you come back to this video and you with your comments in this comment section, it helps for this information to get out to people who have never ever seen me before. They might be interested in this information, and I would love to grow the channel. So I appreciate you for doing your part and helping me do that. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Peace, love, and bliss. I look forward to seeing you all soon, especially those of you who I'm going to see in person next month. All right. Later.